Recently, I got this message on Discord. Hey, I think my friend is missing. Can you help? And below they attached a Reddit link. And this Reddit link led to a user named VRGhost47. This account had 19 posts, each one getting weirder and weirder. But what I didn't know is that these screenshots would lead me down the deepest rabbit hole I've ever seen. And it all starts off with the first screenshot. And this first screenshot says, just joined this private server, pretty empty but the movement feels smooth. Going to practice some wall runs and branching. This first screenshot looked totally normal, just a player named VRGhost47 in a private lobby. So I moved on to screenshot 2. Still on the server, love how quiet it is compared to public lobbies. And just like screenshot 1, this seemed pretty normal. We can see him branching, just like any other normal player would be. However, when I moved on to screenshot 3, things got weird. The caption says, first time checking out this new update, these books are so cool. However, that's not the weird part about this post. The weird part is the image. Forest is completely dark, and we can barely see anything. However, I couldn't find any clues in the screenshot, so I moved on to the next one. This next one looked like the last one, but this time of OG caves. And for some reason, the player didn't seem to notice anything wrong. He just said he liked the lighting in caves. And screenshot 5 wasn't any different, it was just him on a tree. But that was until I clicked on screenshot 6. Screenshot 6 is just an image of a purple gorilla, but that's not what makes it scary. What makes it scary is the caption. Keep getting weird lag spikes, my gorilla freezes up randomly. Server says 2 players online, but I only see myself. Probably just a display bug. And in the screenshot we can see him looking at himself. But when we check the leaderboard we can see that 2 players are in the lobby. But who is the other player? In the post he says that it's just weird lag spikes. Well, to figure that out, we're gonna need to move on to the next screenshot. And in screenshot number 7, he says that he hears weird ambient sounds, like someone is there with him. At first I thought it was the other entity we saw in the previous screenshot. However, could it be a different entity? To figure that out, we'll need to move on to the next screenshot. And screenshot 8 shows a picture of him jumping to a branch. However, in Treehouse there's this weird white blur. And our player seems to notice it as well. He said he thought it was motion blur, however he still notices it when he's standing still. So far we've had 5 screenshots that have been weird, however this next one is the weirdest. My player color reset today and I don't know how. And attached is an image of him as a yellow gorilla, which is a different color compared to the previous purple one. However he states that he didn't change it, so how is this possible? Well, I simply don't know. However, before moving on to screenshot 10, let's do a quick recap. So far, we've had 9 screenshots from this player, and the first few seem pretty normal. However, then we get to screenshot 6, and all the screenshots after that continue to get weirder and weirder. So I decided to send them to my friend 60, and what he said changed everything.
Bro, look in the background of the caves one. There's a white gorilla.
So I went back to the screenshot, and at first I didn't see anything. However, in the corner of my eye, I saw it. A white gorilla staring at him. And because of this, I decided to check the other screenshots. And that's when I saw that screenshots 2, 3 and 4 had the same white figure. But we're only halfway through the screenshots. And whatever this white figure is doing is going to get a lot worse. Moving on to screenshot 10, VRGhost47 is still trying to make sense of what's happening. I asked my brother if he used my VR. He said no, but maybe he forgot. These settings keep changing on their own. So VRGhost47 is trying to rationalize this, blaming their brother, blaming forgetfulness, anything to avoid the truth. Now screenshot 11 is where things get even weirder. VRGhost47 is exploring caves until he finds this weird tunnel system. And he says that there's this weird spot in mines that seems to go on forever. And this doesn't happen in normal Gorilla Tag. And when I enhanced the image, I saw the same entity that we saw from the previous screenshots. And at this point, whoever this is knows VRGhost47 is probably getting suspicious, and they just don't care. In screenshot 13, things are escalating. I'm losing my mind. Had a rare badge equipped, now it's gone from my collection entirely. No way I accidentally deleted it. These servers shouldn't even be able to do that. And they're right, you shouldn't even be able to delete anything from your inventory in the first place. However, someone with access to the servers or your account, they absolutely could. And VRGhost47 is starting to break. I'm losing my mind. That's not a casual comment anymore. That's genuine distress. Screenshot 13, the last screenshot before everything changes. Just trying to clear the mind after what has been happening. And look at his body language. He's not moving, not exploring, just sitting, hoping this will all go away. But it won't, because the entity is right there, watching him. In screenshot 15, this is where things get real. Okay, this is unrelated to the game, but something bizarre happened. Came home today and my apartment door was slightly open. I always lock it. Landlord says maintenance wasn't scheduled, nothing's missing, but my gaming setup looks like it had been slightly moved. My VR headset was warm like someone, and then it cut off. So apparently someone had broken into their apartment, but the only thing they touched was the VR headset. Think about what this means. Whoever's been following VRGhost47 in the game now has access to their room. The entity is now in the real world and VRGhost47 has no idea. However, the next screenshot gets even worse. Screenshot 15 was posted the next day and it gets much worse. In the screenshot we can see multiple entities, and the caption is what makes this even scarier. Last night around midnight I heard my VR boot up from the living room. I crept out of my bedroom and the headset was on displaying Gorilla Tag, but no one was there. I definitely turned everything off before bed. My computer showed someone had been active on my Steam account at around 11:47 PM. I was asleep by 11:30. So someone was using VRGhost47's VR headset and managed to take this screenshot. But to figure out what happened to VRGhost47, we'll need to move on to screenshot 16. And in screenshot 16, VRGhost47 finally meets their stalker directly. I made a huge mistake and logged back on. I was in the same private server and I know I saw another player, just for a split second behind some trees. And in the screenshot we can see the white gorilla they're talking about. For 15 screenshots, VRGhost47 hasn't seen this entity, and now that he has, it's already too late. In screenshot 17, VRGhost47 has decided to quit, as he states with the caption, "I can't do this." And I think this is a good decision because VRGhost47 is getting out while they still can. However, that all changes in the next screenshot. And screenshot 18 was posted right after screenshot 17. And they said they were going to check just one more time. However, that was a big mistake. In the screenshot, VRGhost47 is an OG Gorilla Tag. And if we look in Treehouse, we can still see the entity. And now the only thing left to do is to move on to the final screenshot. In screenshot 20, it shows a white gorilla and stump. And this is the entity that has been following VRGhost47 around all this time. And he says that someone's in his apartment. I tried everything I could to find out what happened next, but I couldn't find anything. And when I went to check their account a couple days later, it said it was deleted. So that leaves the mystery of VRGhost47 unsolved.